Hello, 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 hello. It's an Illini basketball postgame show from No One Asked Us. He is Craig. I am Logan. Welcome in. Illinois goes on the road and gets what is currently a quad one win at Ohio State. 87-75 the final from Columbus. Before we hop into everything, as always, give us a like, give us a share. If you're in here live in the chat, let us know what's up. Give us your thoughts. Let us know where you're watching from. I don't know, whatever people want to say, and we'll shout you out. Also, we are very close to 550 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're watching this now or after the fact, hello, mother. Hop on in there and subscribe to the YouTube page. It would be greatly appreciated. Yes, my mom is here. Hello, Mom. I'm glad you guys got Peacock. You know, just making sure everybody's
I'm glad they have internet.
It's true. We've come a long way from 12 months ago. It's a whole different world for Tim and Don. Yes, an Illini basketball postgame show. 87-75 is the final score from Columbus. Nice team effort, so to speak, I guess you can say. Couple guys scored 20 plus points. Only one other player was in double digits. We'll get into some of the numbers here shortly. Couple players that were not very effective, and we'll talk about that too. But at the end of the day, this is a road win in the Big Ten at Ohio State, which is never necessarily easy, but this is a floundering Ohio State team. Craig Choate, give me your thoughts right off the top. How you feeling? Also, sidebar. I know you're wearing a Bulls shirt, but like red,
Yeah,
like that's the color you go with tonight. Like of all nights to wear
I thought
red.
about this. I thought about that. It was some point during the game. I was like, I didn't change into anything Illinois today. But I didn't put two and two together about the red and the Buckeyes.
That's fair. I literally just threw this shirt on seconds ago.
And then
to have it on
in
for the
that
show. So
same thought, I was like, every show I wear something Illinois. I was like, I'm not going to today. I'm just gonna keep what I have on, and we're gonna do it. But I didn't put the red and red together. I know Io had a good first quarter tonight. For the
Io's had a good stretch of basketball.
Yeah, Io's playing well. So that's what we're going with tonight.
Circle back thoughts.
I thought going into tonight, right before tip off, me and the wife had a nice beat up spread tonight.
The wife
went to get some wings. We were craving some wings, so I had a nice beat up spread sitting in front of me. Game was about to tip off, and I was like, you know what? It's a road game in the Big Ten. I'm going in with no expectations. Road teams have sucked. I don't want to say I'm expecting a loss, but I'm going in with a clear head. I'm not going to get discouraged, and this happens. When I think like that, this happens. It's as simple as that. I mean, winning on the road has been tough, not only in the Big Ten, but in the entire country this season. Don't tell South Carolina that, because what they did tonight was very impressive. But winning on the road is tough. So anytime you can do it, who cares if it's against an Ohio State team that's bottom half, maybe bottom third of the Big Ten? Who cares? It was the same situation last year. You went into Ohio State, the Ohio State team not very good, and you got beat by double digits. So this team didn't let that happen. I think this is a different team than years past. And you did it kind of without Coleman Hawkins doing anything, and Quincy Guerrier kind of didn't do anything. So overall, it's a good win, as any road wins are. This is a good step forward. +1 on the plus-minus Big Ten standings chart.
Yeah, I haven't seen updated stats on road versus home records in the Big Ten and across college basketball. But as you alluded to, it's not been easy to win on the road in this conference in particular. So to get a win like this in Columbus is always special. Granted, I'm not sure that crowd really wanted to be there, but let's just run over some of the numbers here real quick. As I mentioned earlier, 2 Illini players finished with 20 plus points. Terrence Shannon and Marcus Domask both finished with exactly 23. Terrence, not his most efficient night, but still 23 points, 7 for 17 from the field, 3 for 7 from three, 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Him and Marcus Domask, neither of them missed free throw. Terrence was 6 for 6 and Domask was 8 for 8. Let's see what else here of note stat wise. The other scorer in double figures was Ty Rodgers, who actually finished with a double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds, pair of assists for him as well, and a steal. Really nice night for Ty. We'll touch on that. And then that was it for double figures. Dane Danger was the next leading scorer for Illinois, who played 11 minutes, which doesn't seem like a lot, but this is the most Dane we've seen in a long time, largely due to the fact that Coleman was in foul trouble for nearly the entire game.
I thought Dane played really well.
I thought Dane played really well tonight. 7 points, 5 rebounds for him. Went to the free throw line, sank one of those as well. And then Justin Harmon, 6 points. Coleman Hawkins, 5. Quincy Guerrier, 5. Luke Goody, 3. And Amani Hansberry, who got some minutes, finished with 2 points. Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn also played 3 minutes. Did not score a bucket, but he looked pretty good too in his sparing of minutes. So
he brought some energy in the first half. That was did he made some play? Did he make a play?
He had a good defensive moment.
Yeah,
I don't remember what
they ended up calling a foul on him.
Yeah,
they ended up calling a foul on him. But I liked the 3 minutes of energy that we got from him tonight.
Yeah. Other side, Jamison Battle 21, Roddy Gale Jr. 20. That was pretty much most of their scoring. And then some of the split numbers here. Both teams finished about 50% from the field. Illinois was 52, 31 for 60 from the field. Illinois was 41% from 3, 7 for 17, and 90% from the free throw line, 18 for 20 tonight in free throws. Turnovers were the same, 6-6. Total rebounds, Illinois again out rebounds the opponent 36-28. 11-8 on the offensive end. Nothing really else sticks out to me there. Fast break points 11-8 in favor of Illinois. That's largely because Terrence Shannon is back on the court and playing somewhat closer to what we had seen earlier in the season tonight. All right. I know some people are in the chat. Are there any particular things we want to touch on? Or do you want to get into some of these performances?
Brant asked a question a while ago. Is OSU's arena always that empty? I will say
it's a big arena, correct?
I went to this game last year. It is a pro style arena. It's not like a Michigan State or an Illinois. It's very similar to what we have here in Louisville. It is a pro style arena that it's hard to make the environment lively. I feel like it was not full last year. I saw Robert Rosenthal tweeted a video. It was not full this year. The team's not performing well. Holtman's not liked right now, but it's a hard arena to get an environment in. But I don't think this is normal for them. They're a top tier Big Ten program, and they're down on their luck right now with some things. So people aren't going to the games. But I agree. It looked dead tonight.
Yeah, I want to obviously focus mostly on Illinois in the show because that's what we talk about. But the Holtman thing I think is unfortunate because I do think he's a good coach and I do think he's well respected there. I think a lot of the fan base likes him. I think a lot of the alumni like him. But what's happening there, it's not good. Ohio State's kind of one of those situations where it should be a top tier program, but it's also second fiddle to football. So, basketball isn't necessarily as important, so they can get away with a little bit more. But in a Big Ten conference that is very top heavy, it has been for several years. They should be better than they are. They should be at least competing at least in the middle tier, most always. And they're just not. They haven't been very good. Granted, they've had some good players that have come through there that may only last a year or so. But yeah, this is not a particularly good Ohio State team. But regardless, as of right now, it is still a quad 1 win. So we'll see if that holds up.
What is that, number 2 for Illinois?
I have this pulled up. There's the third quad 1 win.
Okay. FAU and Michigan State.
Correct. Yes. Yep. Correct. Yes.
Okay. That helps.
Yeah. What else? Who else is in the chat? I know we want to talk about some of these individual performances, but is there anything
We
of
can talk
note?
about well, I don't know how much we want to talk about him, but Kai brought up Dane played better as the game went on, but that's the first time Hansberry caught my eye. 3 minutes
Yes.
for 4 minutes for Hansberry. A big bucket. He missed the free throw, but a big and one. Was that the first half? Yeah, it was the first half.
Yeah, it was the first
and
half.
one for him.
I don't think he played in the second half.
No, I don't think he did either.
Amani, Dane got minutes because Coleman was in foul trouble, and then Coleman and Dane got in foul trouble, so Amani got minutes. Yeah. And I think they both look good in their minutes. I think this is the best we've seen out of Dane in against a high major opponent all season. 7 points, 5 boards in 11 minutes it's pretty effective. Made a free throw. We had not seen a lot of Amani Hansberry. It's unfortunate, but I mean, Coleman's playing a lot. Coleman Hawkins is playing a lot of minutes. And then Dane Danger is obviously your backup center. So that doesn't leave a lot for Hansberry. And not only is Coleman playing a lot, but Quincy Guerrier is playing a lot of minutes. So there's just not a lot of post minutes to have. And then Amani's also been dealing with some back issues, back spasms, I believe was the case there. So he's technically been out for several games because of that. So, but yeah, both Dane and Amani looked really good in their minutes tonight. Really like to see that. And then we talked about Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, who didn't see much and didn't score any, but he also looked good sparingly too. Let's just kind of real quick kind of go over some of these things. So let's start with Terrence. This is, I'm not going to put this isn't elite Terrence Shannon, I don't think. As I mentioned, he wasn't super effective from the field, but still 23 points, 3 threes tonight. He's driving, he's getting to the basket, he's doing Terrence Shannon things. He's still a little sloppy at times. You can tell things are still going on, and I don't think this crowd was particularly hard, difficult on him. There was a couple times that they were chanting some things, but I think over the course of time, Terrence will get out of his own head a little bit and start to get, his feet back under him. And I think we're starting to see that tonight. He looked pretty good.
Yeah. I wouldn't use the B word. I wouldn't use back yet. You just need to see a couple more games from him, but
it's crazy that 23 points and still not back, but yeah.
Yeah. He hit a 3 early that I thought really set the tone. I think it might have been the first points. Maybe not the first bucket, but first couple of buckets for Illinois was a 3 from Terrence, and that's always a good sign to see one go early. I love when he does it. He just the freight train, but that can cause problems. If you get a guy that knows how to take a charge, and I know they're not calling as many charges in college basketball this season, but if you can get a defender to set their ground, Terrence isn't stopping. So that's my one concern with Terrence. His game will come back. He wasn't playing like this the first month of the season, and then he got in that flow, really popped off against Missouri and a couple games before that, and then the suspension happened. So it's going to take him a little while, but what was he from the field tonight?
7 for 17.
7 for 17. 3 for 7 from 3. That's encouraging.
We're getting there. We're getting
4
there.
of 10. Yeah. It's coming. It's coming. Next game's at home against Nebraska. Maybe another 20 point game from him, and then we'll go from there. But it was nice to see him make some field goals, because a lot of his points since he had come back had been at the free throw line. It was nice to see some field goals go down.
Yeah. Marcus Domask did a lot of the heavy lifting tonight, particularly early on when Terrence, I think at one point Terrence was like 2 for 10 from the field or something. He really kind of got a little more going a little later on in the game. But Marcus Domask was doing a lot. Again, 23 points for him. Just kind of doing a little bit of everything. That's just kind of the role he is. Some of that booty ball, some of grabbing some boards, dishing it out. This is the Batman and Robin scenario we've been looking at for a while. Whoever the number one guy is, it's going to happen. But then sometimes it's Domask, sometimes it's Coleman, sometimes it's Guerrier. Tonight it was definitely Marcus Domask. Ty Rodgers actually played in the second half, which we haven't seen in about a week at least. Double tonight for Ty. Had a big putback dunk at one point.
Yeah.
Really showed his athleticism there. This was a good Ty game. I kind of felt like going into this game that Ohio State was a better matchup for Illinois because Illinois has struggled. There's two types of players that Illinois has struggled against: the all-conference point guards and really anybody with size and skill. And Ohio State really doesn't have either of those things. Illinois defends wings very well because that's pretty much what they are. And Ohio State has some players, but they just don't really have those type of players. So it really allowed for, Ty to stay on the court longer and show his effectiveness. So Ty Rodgers, 13 points, 5 for 6 from the field, did not miss, only missed one field goal, and 3 for 3 from the free throw line. At one point, we were worried about Ty Rodgers as a free throw shooter. You remember those days? Yep. Are you still worried about Ty Rodgers as a free throw shooter?
No, I said it like a month ago. I said it. He's changed up his routine. He does the bounce and then he spins it, and as it's spinning, he goes into his shot, and it looks smooth. Since Purdue, when Matt Painter pulled out that defensive strategy against him, since Purdue, he is averaging 9.4 points per game. Ty Rodgers is in 7 games. He's had 3 games in double figures: 15 against Michigan, 15 against Michigan State, 15 at Michigan, and 13 tonight. He's also had 8, 6, 4, and 5 thrown in there. So they figured out a way to keep him involved, which was the challenge, because everyone's doing it now. It's not like Purdue was the only one. Everyone now, since then, is putting their big on Ty. Doesn't matter who it is. And he's still going out and getting his buckets. And those times that he scored in single digits, this was his first double-digit game since Michigan. So the 3 prior, he was scored in single digits, but he didn't play 20 minutes in the game. So tonight he plays – what do you end up playing tonight?
26.
26, and he scores 13 points. So they're keeping him involved, which is kudos to Brad for coming up with a game plan and his staff for pulling that off, because that was everyone's concern after that Purdue game. Is you couldn't keep Ty on the floor because you can't lose that offensive threat. But I think Ty's played well. We're never going to see him take a jumper, but he's so good and so smart and knows exactly where to go around the rim with his. It seems like every game he has one reverse layup that I'm like, how did he get that angle? Like, how are his arms that long to get that reverse? So yeah.
Do you think that changing up his free throw routine and being a little bit more confident with that might add some confidence to his jumper at some point? I'm not saying it happens this year.
Yeah.
But do you think that could be something that he takes into the lab in the off season? And again, I'm not expecting him to light it up from 20 feet, but like,
he's not going to be Devontae.
No, but is there a scenario in which he could actually, be somewhat effective, from anywhere outside of the paint? Is that a realistic scenario that we could see in the next year or two?
I would say that is number 1 on his off-season checklist, is make yourself at least somewhat of a threat outside of the paint to alleviate that defensive game plan that teams are throwing out against us. Yeah. Because if he can at least step out to the free throw line and hit a 3, that would help open things up a little bit. So, Hey, Illinois comment in here. They played well.
Illinois, welcome to the pod. They did play well. Kudos.
You played well.
Today,
Illinois, you played well.
You played well, Illinois. We've covered a lot of the good. Let's just talk about the Coleman Hawkins situation. Coleman was the bad tonight. Hello, I see. Philip. Thank you. Welcome to the pod, Philip Hugel. Coleman wasn't good tonight. Coleman was in foul trouble most of the game, picked up 2 fouls early in the first half, sat for a large part of the first half. That's what allowed Dane and Amani to play some of their minutes. And then early on in the second half, picked up foul number 3 and then did not like the said situation and then proceeded to run his mouth, picking up technical and foul number 4. So Coleman Hawkins tonight played still played 25 minutes, which actually is surprising to me. I didn't even think he was on the floor that much. But in 25 minutes, Coleman Hawkins with 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 block, and then the 4 fouls. So he had literally almost as many fouls as he had anything else. So this was definitely not a Coleman Hawkins game. Like Coleman, love Coleman. Yes, the comment that you're showing there from Dwayne. Love an intelligent Hawkins, but the bonehead technicals aren't going to fly in postseason play. That was just Coleman kind of being Coleman. We've seen Coleman take a lot of positive strides in his 4th year in Champaign, but tonight was certainly a flashback to Coleman of old. And,
I kind of agree with what Bardo said, that I feel like that was more of a reputation technical, because I don't think he did a whole lot tonight. I thought it was pretty weak tonight, but the other 17 games of the season, he's gotten away with when he probably should have been called for a technical. So we knew one was coming. Just happened to be tonight. Yeah, he's still Coleman Hawkins, So I agree. This team would not be where they are without him. So you just kind of got to put up with moments like that when they do.
You'd feel differently if this was a loss, but I'm not worried about Coleman Hawkins tonight. What else is in the chat? Who else is here? What do we want to talk about?
Bootzilla just asked a question. Boot? Are we worried about Quincy at all?
I'll start. No.
Go for it.
This is college basketball, and players are inconsistent. There are very few players in the country that are going to give you the same thing night in and night out for 30 whatever games per season. One of those players is the National Player of the Year candidate playing in West Lafayette, and there are a few more here and there. Quincy Guerrier is a very valuable member of this team. Do I think he's going to be he had a nice run of however many straight games with doubles, and I think he'll get back to that type of form. I can understand why there would be concerns. He's not looked particularly good the last few games, but I personally am not worried about Quincy. I think he's a very effective rebounder, 3-point shooter, does a lot of things really well. Just you're looking at a rough stretch that followed up a really good stretch. It's my opinion. How do you feel? Are you worried about Quincy?
We've said this a lot since we started this podcast.
What's that?
The really good podcasts and shows that get ratings and clicks, their hosts argue all the time. We never do that because we always think alike. For the most part, I'm pretty pessimistic at times. You're pretty optimistic, but I think for the most part, we like to stay a little level-headed, and we do agree on a lot of things. And I agree. I'm not worried about Quincy at all. Even if he's not scoring, he's going to do good things for this team. I know he only had 2 rebounds tonight, and he only had 4. He had 2 points and 4 rebounds against Indiana. So it's 2 pretty big clunkers in a row for him. But like you said, before that, he had 6 double-doubles in the 8 prior games. So it's there. Terrence is back now that's this 4th game now with him back. So things are going to change from the way they were the 6 games he was out. So maybe that's an impact from Terrence coming back as well. Because Quincy did have to score more and all that with Terrence out. So not worried about Quincy. I think he's going to stay in the starting lineup. He's going to continue to play decent defense and get rebounds. He's probably just not going to score 15, 18 a night like he had when Terrence was out.
And let's just address this too. This is something that we've kind of talked about at times, and I think everybody. I'm not saying I'm not going to say anything that nobody knows or doesn't know, but this team is far from perfect, and they have plenty of flaws. Yeah. We have seen the good side of how this roster is constructed and what this team can do. The the way this team is built, largely with, I would call them wings, that can spread the floor and do a lot of different things. But that does put you in situations at times where you're going to be outmatched in different scenarios, different matchups, things like that. Quincy Guerrier is probably not the most efficient 4-man in the country, but that's the role he's playing on this team. And there are times where he's going to be outmatched by somebody else because that's just not who he is. It's just how this roster is built. It is what it is. So there are going to be flaws and there's going to be moments. It's been a rough stretch for Quincy, but I think he'll be fine. What else? Bootzilla, thank you. Oh, appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. What else?
Mark wants to make sure we clip the "We Don't Fight" on this show so we can play it back when Craig's burner account launches. No one asks Logan. Burners have been quiet lately. I haven't really been in the burner mood lately.
I still haven't found them. I will find them one day.
We disabled the reactions.
I didn't disable anything.
Oh, I disabled mine.
Oh, did I disable mine? Whatever. All right. What else do we need to talk about? Do we want to do Everyday Guy? Do you want to do?
Sure.
I mean, I think my answer is Dane Danger. We don't get to say his name a lot.
Oh, okay.
I could obviously go with one of the 20-point scorers or the Ty Rodgers thing. I mean, I think that's, would be obvious. But Dane Danger. This was a Dane game. We don't get a lot of Dane games anymore, especially in Big Ten play. So that was, due largely in part to Coleman's foul trouble. But 7 points, 5 rebounds in 11 minutes. I will give it to Dane Danger tonight.
Okay. I thought
so I will let you pick any of the double-figure scorers.
I want to go with Ty because I don't like to pick like a leading scorer, but the way Marcus did it tonight, I think I'm going to go with Marcus.
Yeah.
He's just such a smart basketball player. Bardo kept saying it, how patient he is and how he can score off of 2 feet. And I'm to the point where if he has the ball, 80% of the time something good's going to happen, I feel like, late in the shot clock. He does have the turnover yips a little bit. He kicks the ball off his foot sometimes, and he has some stupid turnovers. But some of the shots that he makes and the decisions and the way he gets them to go, it's like, you came from SIU? You played at SIU?
Yeah. I mean, I do think some of the turnover stuff just comes from usage. The ball's just in his hand a lot. He only had 1 turnover tonight. So, that's obviously better than we've seen from some nights. But as I said, the ball's just in Marcus's hands a lot. And he's not a point guard. He's not a facilitator. He can do a lot of things, but so that's just going to happen. Tim Lee, what's Marcus's NIL deal? He's probably underpaid. Yeah, he probably is underpaid.
Quattros
pizza. I haven't had Quattros pizza in so long. When was the last time you had Quattros pizza? You go to that area fairly frequently.
I haven't been to Carbondale though. We don't go to Carbondale anymore. Last time I was at Carbondale was this. There. Yeah, we went to the Super Sectional, Pinckneyville versus Teutopolis last year, but we didn't have time to go. It's probably been 2018, maybe 2017, 2018. I went and had Quattros with a friend.
I miss it.
Yeah.
One day.
I did want to talk about this that your dad brought up. The defense. A couple other people had brought it up, so I'm sorry if I didn't bring your comment here.
Please, my dad.
Tim Lee with the same last name as Logan. This was our gripe at Northwestern.
It's Craig's burner.
Tim Lee is my burner. You caught me. The defense has been rough lately. That's a weakness. We thought the same thing in Northwestern. Obviously not as bad tonight, but you did give up 75. They did shoot 50%. It's not as good as it was in the beginning of the season. And I don't know what happened.
Well, okay. I don't disagree with that, and I do think the defense has somehow gotten worse, but let's also address the fact that Illinois didn't play a lot of tough competition in the beginning of the season.
That's true.
So like I understand. I've seen those numbers about defensive efficiency, how it was like prior to whatever point and how it's changed. But like I know I say the Big Ten sucks, but like outside of Florida Atlantic and Tennessee and Marquette, Illinois didn't play anybody before January. So, like, yeah, those numbers are going to be a little skewed. I do think something has happened with the defense. I do think there are issues there, but I also think that some of that defense efficiency stuff is just based on who they played more so than anything. I think the part of the defensive problem is what I kind of mentioned earlier. I think it's some of it's just matchup based. I just don't think there are particular players and matchups in this conference that just does not fare well for Illinois. That wasn't necessarily the case tonight. And yes, they did give up 75, but you still scored 87. So, like, if you put up 87 points, it'd be great to limit a team to 60, but, like, that's just not realistic. Like, that's not
Illinois is really going to happen. Up to number 5 in Ken Pom offense, which is insane. 34th in defense.
Yeah, they're scoring a lot of points. And they're doing it at a good clip. So, yeah, I agree. The defense has some issues, but.
Good question from Jeff. Do you put the ball in Marcus's hands or Terrence's hands for the last shot at the end of the game? Right now, Marcus. And
correct.
I think the rest of the year it stays Marcus. I think he's going to make the smart decision.
Yeah, I agree. And you could certainly make a case that at some point Terrence earns the right to have that back. And he very well could. I think he is still this team's best player. But in that situation, I agree with you. I think that, I was fine with putting the ball in Marcus's hands at the end of regulation of the Northwestern game. And I didn't dislike the shot that he took. It just didn't go in. I think I think the ball is in Marcus's hands at this point. Could change. But I agree. I think you trust him to make that.
Yep. Give him the ball top the key, set a ball screen, or let him get into his breakdown and just make sure he goes or tries to go to Terrence's side to where Terrence is open on the wing if he does need to kick out. And then you can get it to Terrence from there.
Yes.
A couple more. I just want to flash this up there. Fellas, here. I failed out. Sorry. Well, I don't think you're the only one.
Yeah, plenty of people have.
I don't think you're the only one at SIU that did that. This one, Dwayne. What really is holding Dane's playing time? Skill, conditioning, decision making. Really, what is holding him back? I ask you that, Logan.
You want me to start with this?
Yeah.
I think it's largely the fact that Coleman Hawkins is playing a lot of minutes. I think that's really what this comes down to, and I think Coleman's style of play fits this team better than what Dane does. Dane is just not as effective in this offense. He is more limited in what he can do. Yes, he certainly can still help you out, but Dane has looked better tonight than he had in weeks. So I don't think it's necessarily conditioning. Part of it's decision making. I do think, as we've talked about, you've mentioned in the past, he kind of suffers from that Kofi syndrome of, once he gets the ball, it's over type of thing. I just don't think he's the right player for this system. And when you have Coleman Hawkins playing the way that he is, and as much as he is, it's really going to put a hindrance on Dane's minutes. I think that's really what it comes down to.
My burner beat me to it.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Dane operates in the post. I mean, Coleman Coleman, you can play 5 out. Dane, he's he is on the block, he's in the lane, and that's not what Brad wants to do offensively. It's okay for a 5-minute stretch, 8-minute stretch. But that's not the offense Brad wants to run. So I think that, as well as, yes, he can't guard very well. So
we've talked about this before, but Dane, when you have a player like Kofi, you change your offense to go around Kofi Coburn. Dane Danger is not Kofi Coburn. So Brad's he's just not going to change the offense that he wants to run with the roster that he has. If Coleman didn't come back, Dane would be seeing a lot of minutes, and this offense would look a lot different. Yeah. You would have to play Dane a lot more, and he would have to you would be clogging up the paint. It just limits you more when he's out there. Like, it's unfortunate because I do think he's a talented player, but I don't think he's a particularly good Big Ten center, and he just limits you offensively and defensively. It's really nothing against him. It's just the situation he's in.
Georgia Tech beat North Carolina too. So number 3 and number 5 go down tonight. I don't have anything else. The chat has died down a little bit. I think we answered enough questions. We'll be on here for 35 minutes. So
okay. Fair enough. All right. Next up, Illinois hosts Nebraska on Sunday. That is like a late Sunday game. It's like a 6 o'clock start or 5 o'clock start or something. But yeah, I haven't watched it. Huh?
6:30, Big Ten Network.
Why? Why is that why on a Sunday?
No NFL. You can play whenever you want now.
I hate it. Yeah.
Except next Sunday. The 11th, you can't play whenever you want.
Is certainly not top tier Big Ten team, but they are a dangerous Big Ten team.
Better at home than on the road.
Illinois, correct. Yes, they are better at home than they are on the road, and this game is in Champaign, so you have that going for you. But this is a Nebraska team that already has 3 quad 1 wins. So
I don't think they've won a Big Ten game on the road this season.
Probably not.
They have not.
Okay.
Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Rutgers, Maryland.
Yes, that is correct. But yeah, it is what it is. They still got some talent. They still can play. They're still looking like maybe a tournament team, but yes, they do not play well on the road. So that works in Illinois' favor, but I have seen crazier things happen. We will come back to you Sunday night after that game. Did I just go out of focus? It's weird. But yeah, that's next Sunday night, Nebraska. Craig and I will see each other before then.
I don't know
how long are you gonna keep me in Louisville.
However long you want.
If the game was earlier, we would obviously watch it together and do a post-game show live. But I'm not staying there all the way until then. So no, I will make it back in time. Craig and I are going to hang out on Saturday, so I'm sure we'll have plenty to complain about when we separate, and then we'll be back for another show.
It's going to be like our first time hanging out in a long time.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I saw you at your wedding, but you had 1,000 people there, and people way more important than me. So
yeah, because someone wouldn't come on the dance floor.
Really? That's what? Stop it. Okay, fair enough. All right, we're going to shut it down.
Yeah.
Final from Columbus, 87-75. Illinois advances to, what did we say the record was? Honestly, I honestly
16,
forgot. We talked about it. And
16-5?
Sure. 16-5.
7-3
in Big Ten play. Next up is Nebraska in Champaign, Sunday night. We will catch you guys then. For Craig, I'm Logan. We'll see you on Sunday. Bye.